If you clicked on this video, it means you wanted to learn more about anime manipulators, and I will help you with this. Well, if you do not give in to manipulation and are a puppeteer yourself, then like and subscribe to my channel. Today we will talk about the smartest and most cunning characters from anime. I think I don't need to explain to you what manipulation is, but if we speak briefly, manipulation is a process that allows the manipulator to control or manage the behavior of others in their favor, using various information or other methods of pressure. Since we have dealt with the theoretical part, I suggest we move on to examples. Eren Yeager, the unyielding and determined protagonist of Attack on Titan, is on a relentless quest to free his people from the clutches of oppression at the hands of the world and the Titans. With his keen intellect, charismatic presence, and indomitable willpower, he is skilled at manipulating and influencing those around him, whether they be allies, enemies, or potential recruits. Eren deftly exploits the emotions, loyalty, and drive of his closest friends, rallying them to support his plans and protect his secrets, even at the cost of deceiving and betraying his comrades. He uses their abilities and resources to advance his cause. Griffith, a pleasant and ambitious leader, relentlessly pursues his dream of creating his own kingdom, no matter the cost. His ability to use charm, intelligence, and skill gives him influence over others, be they allies, adversaries, or potential benefactors. Using the loyalty, admiration, and devotion of his followers, especially the members of the Band of the Hawk, he manipulates them into selflessly sacrificing themselves for his cause. He also has no qualms about deceiving and betraying friends like Guts and Casca, using them as mere pawns for his own personal gain. Unburdened by remorse or guilt, he firmly believes that all his actions are justified in the pursuit of his dream. Lelouch, the brilliant and charismatic protagonist, has a burning desire to overthrow the oppressive Britannian Empire and build a world of peace for his beloved sister. With exceptional intelligence, strategic acumen, and the power of Geass, even without his Geass, Lelouch is a formidable opponent. His greatest weapon is his brilliant mind. He possesses genius-level intellect and is able to devise and execute strategies with incredible speed and precision. Lelouch has used his virtuoso skills in real combat, leading a small group of terrorists to victory against overwhelming odds. He is skilled at manipulating people and groups with well-delivered speeches and clever deceptions. He was able to single-handedly create an organization that was able to overthrow the Britannia that had been in power for many years. Lelouch certainly knows how to properly use his intellect to achieve his goals. Yagami is the brilliant yet arrogant protagonist of Death Note, who aims to create a utopian world free of crime and evil with the Death Note, which is capable of ending the lives of those whose names and faces are known. With a deep mastery of intellect, charm, and deception, he is skilled at manipulating and influencing others, whether they be comrades, opponents, or potential victims. Yagami is the top student in Japan with outstanding intellectual abilities. A calculating and cunning guy, moderately social, but does not have permanent friends or girlfriends. He is not interested in the entertainment of his peers and is constantly left alone with his hobbies. Since childhood, Light hated crime and was guided by a sense of justice in his actions, but did not show himself without need. Yagami has a sharp, tenacious mind and analytical thinking. He knows how to be cunning, lie and manipulate. He often uses people as puppets because he does not see anyone as his equal. Outwardly, Yagami appears as an emotionless and calm person. In fact, he suffers from megalomania, hypocrisy, sharp emotional outbursts, and obvious psychoses. By nature, he is a cruel, apathetic adventurer. Under the influence of emotions, psychological problems, he makes serious mistakes and creates dangerous situations and does not understand the consequences of his actions. But the one who is completely devoid of any emotions, and so on the skin. From childhood, he grew up in the so-called White Room, an experimental institution built to create ideal people. In this institution, children were educated from a very young age in a controlled environment. They were taught everything, not only the humanities and technical sciences, but also martial arts, self-defense techniques, and nuggets of worldly wisdom. Too numerous to mention. Due to the very harsh curriculum, many students dropped out, but there were exceptional students, and even among them, one stood above all others. the sole survivor of the demonic fourth generation, Ayonakoji Kyotoka. No matter how cruel the curriculum was, he easily passed it, leaving behind his own legacy. His records were too amazing, his strength, both fairy and mental, made even adults feel ashamed. Even now, at this moment, there was not a single character in the A&B of the superior class who could stand up to Ayonakoji. Ayonakoji is able to adapt to any danger and turn it to her advantage. His intelligence is simply mind-boggling. He manipulates everyone he meets. Everyone is just a tool for him. Ayonakoji has definitely earned his place as one of the best puppeteers in existence. Well, where would we be without our Mr. Aizen? Aizen is very calm and cold, behaves very politely and with a sense of his business, rarely shows signs of anxiety. He often tries to make small talk with his enemies to anger them. Aizen has an extremely cruel, selfish and manipulative character. He doesn't care about any of his subordinates because he only cares about himself. And to him, they are all just pawns that he can use. He claims that he has no morals, saying that they will simply limit his abilities. Aizen will stop at nothing to complete his plans. No matter what you say, Aizen's plan is truly magnificent. Everything that happens in the world is part of his plan. And even the fact that you are watching this video is also according to Aizen's plan. At the beginning of the story, Yuichi appears to be a diligent and happy student who works hard to be able to join his friends on a school trip. He values his friends very much throughout the story. He shows kindness and willingness to sacrifice himself for his friends, even going so far as to brand himself a traitor in order to prevent further discord. However, as the story progresses and the games become more serious, Yuichi begins to show a much more sinister side. Yuichi can be considered one of the most, if not the most intelligent characters in the series. His ability to manipulate people and form complex conspiracies around these manipulations is extraordinary. Yuichi often allows his opponents to underestimate him in order to deceive them. Yuichi also has a wealth of practical knowledge and a deep understanding of the shadowy criminal world. His machinations are rarely exposed, unless they are allowed to reveal themselves as part of a greater plan. He has no qualms about threatening others or following through on those threats to achieve his goals. Johan is incredibly brilliant and impressive at everything he studies and the absolute best at everything he sets his mind to. This is noted by Schwald when he praises Johan's knowledge of law and economics, and by Karl, who notes that no one can surpass Johan in anything. Johan's ability to manipulate people is almost supernatural and therefore an indomitable force to be reckoned with. Johan is not an exceptional master of manipulation. Johan can intuitively and perfectly assess the psychology and behavior and motives of any person. He sees their mind and soul at a glance, which allows him to perfectly predict what people will do and how to manipulate them. He has perfect, observational, perceptual, analytic, calculating, tactical and deductive skills. They allow him to easily predict and understand and control everything, no matter how difficult it may be. He can make anyone or anything feel good and hopeful or feel overwhelming intimidation, fear and despair with his presence. Johan is so impressive to people that he can convince Legion to commit murder, play suicide games, or commit other monstrous acts after just one encounter with him. He almost easily conquered the entire economy of Europe, only to stop because his goal changed. Johan is a truly terrifying monster. Well, we've sorted out the smartest manipulators presented to us in anime. I hope you found it at least a little interesting. I decided not to make a full-fledged top, because it would be difficult to rank them all and fully compare their intelligence. If you want, you can do it in the comments. You can also give examples of other manipulators that you know. I will be very interested to read it. Well, and with that, once again I am forced to go into the sunset, but only for a while. Farewell, my dear friends. With you was OK Anime. See you later.